I'll try to be brief in my presentation since we haven't got much time. Well, the visuals may be not as interesting in the previous ones, but I have a lot of figures and something that could be of interest. Dr. Shvedova spoke about UN objectives and gender equality, and these are the legal foundations for gender equality in Russia, the UN objective, and since we're members still of the United Nations, it's something which is relevant. We are also a legal successor to the Soviet Union, so the Convention on the elimination of all forms of inequality with respect to women also should be complied with, and our Constitution of the Russian Federation has this very good article number 19, para 3, that male and women have equal rights and freedoms. The Constitution is directly applicable, of course, and everything should be okay in this country. But is it? We don't have other laws, bylaws, that courts could rely on when they consider cases related to gender equality. We don't have a law on gender equality. Bills are occasionally introduced, but no movement there. People keep on perfecting that law, but it's still there. We don't have a law on prohibiting family violence, and it's in family violence, 14,000 women and children die every year, but still we don't have this law. What actually happens is, if there's a call from the victim, the police would visit the place, but would do nothing, because they don't have the authority, because we don't have the law. Inner family conflict, police not authorized to intervene. Also, unfortunately, we don't have normal institutions that would protect the rights of women. No ombudsman for the rights of women. We have a lots of ombudsmen on the business, children, but not women. We haven't got one. We don't have any council with the president or any ministry to protect the rights of women and would work for gender equality. Women in legislature. Surprising as it is, Russia, with very strong suffragist movement back in the 19th century and early 20th century, Russian Tsar, Emperor Nicholas II gave Finland the rights to women in Finland, the rights to vote, participate in elections. The women of Russia also started demanding that right for the other provinces of Russia. The temporary government in 17 promised to give that right, but then the October Revolution came. Formally, that was the start of the equality of rights between men and women. In actual fact, it was not so, of course. But with that tradition, surprising as it is, we see a recoil in all areas of life. We may be ashamed here, but in terms of the participation of women in legislative authority, Russia ranks 100 exactly out of 103. National parliament here, only 13.6% women, and they are, like male would call them openly, they are beautiful decorations that we have to work in. Below is the only professional lawyer, Yelena Mizulina, unfortunately notorious for very strange initiatives in parliament. one initiative that women that haven't given birth should not be given allowed to get higher education. Among the legislative assemblies in the regions, also very few women, but more women there on the regional level. In some legislative assemblies, there are no women at all, though. Municipal level, where there is less authority, there are many more women, 26% at municipal level. And today we have a municipal deputy in Moscow, Svetlana Savitskaya. She's here. Near another very good deputy, Mikhail Menshikov, seated together, being genderly equal. They've managed to be victorious in fighting the party, the ruling party. The woman in pink is Valentina Matviyenko, who several years ago was the only woman governor. Now there's another one, the only woman governor, it's in Khanty-Mansiysk. And today, Valentina Matviyenko is the head of the upper chamber of the Council of the Federation. Now the government, executive authority, it's very bad there. Only 2 ministers are women, Vice Premier Olga and Minister of Health Care Veronika Skvortsova. Out of the governors, only 1 is a woman, Natalia Komarova. It's 0.85% of all governors in percent. It's also bad with women representation in political parties. Yabloko is unusual in that respect. More than 60% of the membership are women, out of the active members, and women have high positions within the party. Also, unfortunately, we are unique to Russia in that sense that, well, today very many parties, out of all the parties, we are the only one to have a gender faction that works for the equality of women and men. Unfortunately, other parties do not focus on that, do not follow our example, and do not discuss the women agenda. Although in Russia there are more women than men, nonetheless, for women, this is very sensitive, that glass ceiling where the votes of, or the voice of women will not be heard. Our representative in the Central Election Committee, Yelena Dubrovina, she's a lawyer. Back in 2006, she spoke about the fact that we have to introduce a norm or a quota where a party running for elections should have at least 25% of women on the list. The Central Election Committee supported Yelena Dubrovina back then, but unfortunately that initiative never materialized. Now in Karelia, the Legal Assembly of Armenia in Sapnova, she made a courageous statement that in Parliament of Karelia at least 50% of women should be there. In Karelia, to boast a little bit, we are unique in the situation. We have these wonderful women in authority, they're in power, by contrast with the previous photos from the State Duma and the Council of the Federation. It's not on legislative assembly faction in parliament. It's also executive authority, where the mayor Shirshina, the mayor of Shirshina, who was supported by Yabloko, and we heard the whole story about that. And her first decision when she became mayor of Petrozava was the first statement was that they will not celebrate her inauguration, saying that that money should be better spent to address the needs of the region. Also, what she did, well, she's She's very strong against corruption. She did not allow a trolleybus company to go bankrupt, increasing the fares for trolleybus ride, and that was a whole corrupt undertaking to bankrupt that company. At this point in time, Shirshin is living through quite a difficult time because the authorities in Karelia will try to make her retire. Emilia also spoke about political repression against women in Karelia, and I would say that women are most vulnerable there because many have kids, and even including small types. And in some cases, our women politicians there were blackmailed with their children. And one woman was taken to prison in dire conditions, kept in prison. End of March, the April, cold and very harsh conditions she was kept in. UN statistics tells us that for as long as women account for 25% in the authority, then the issues of children would not be addressed properly. So it's no surprise what is happening in this country in education, in healthcare. Women are more focused on this area rather than male. Traditionally, care of the children has been the focus of women, not men. As for the rating of the equality of genders, Russia takes 75th place, which is a disgrace. Although the educational, in terms of education, we're 28, but in terms of the participation of women in politics, we rank 125th. Also, public opinion polls show that 64% of the people have nothing against having a woman take one of the top positions within the country. And at the local level, which is less controlled by the central authority, quite often women emerge as top leaders there. And the public react very good to this because they don't expect this many bad things, including corruption, as they expect from men. Last year, I ran for position of deputy in the Moscow State Duma, and my agenda was not only a Yabloko agenda, but also a gender and women agenda. I spoke about that we need free healthcare, free education, some other issues, gender equality, and despite the fact that the constituency where I ran, our working class community, intelligence, everybody though reacted very well to my agenda. It was a surprising thing to see, but still, well, my personal opinion, 85%, especially in Moscow, no. I don't think that our current authority, will be able to reach that target at all. The labor market, an important thing for us, because unfortunately, until now, the average salary of a woman is 66% of what men are earning for the same work, and they would be terminated the first. Quite often a woman would be given a job without a permanent contract, only fixed one, and maternity leaves create problems for women, often terminated also on those grounds. And one of the organizations dealing with supporting those women, and that organization is living through quite difficult times right now. And although our authorities tell that in business we have a lot of business managers, if we take a closer look where and in which particular cases women are bosses in businesses or somebody's sisters, wives, or other relatives, then we would see that it's small proportion of women leaders in business, only 36%, of which half of those are self-employed. Like you knit socks and sell it to the market. That's a business leader, isn't it? But big company top managers is only 37%. Considering that the policy of the government is asocial, where the government sheds all social functions like a corporation in a crisis, but who gets punished first is women and children, pensioners, unemployed, and the women are a majority in those categories, the hardest hit by the current environment, considering that we have a very high divorce rate. The benefit that a woman with a child gets from the former husband is very low. Very many husbands hide from their former families, and that's also a big problem, and we have quite a few legal initiatives to support the women in such families. Low benefits, level of benefits for unemployment, low social payments, healthcare becoming more and more paid for, and another problem is not enough kindergartens in these countries. It makes it more difficult for women to find a job, and it's a big problem also, problem for women. Work at home is also something that women do in this country, and they're double victims. Patriarchal stereotypes make women choose whether it's work or family and children. That's on the one hand, and that affects the whole society, reducing birth rate and lower professional contribution of women to the economy. And traditionally, women have very high level of education. That's it. Thank you.